Sing, sing, sing. Talk. This is Sing Talk Radio.
Welcome to Sing Talk Radio. It's an incredible day today, and that's because I am guest hosting today's show with my buddy Joe, my buddy, in a way, Shannon.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason for that is that the main man who normally is in this chair is in the hot seat today. Mr. Dave Stroud, how do you feel about being in the hot seat?
I'm nervous, but good.
Okay, well, here's the thing. We've got a lot to talk about because you have a very vibrant life that you've lived. And I don't know about you guys, but most people will know you for loving dogs.
That was his band in high school. Loving Dogs, yes.
That one, tick the box.
Yeah.
Loving your wife.
Aw, I like that the dogs were above that, though, which is true. It's true.
Just all you need to be is on his Facebook, and then you'll know that. And lastly, speech level singing, probably back in the day. And you know, I don't know. Like, I think most people will have an idea that you were one of the you were the creator. And I just would love. I mean, that's 15 years of your life in total, from start to finish.
Loving the dogs.
That's longer, surely. Yeah. I would love to know what your thoughts are on that period of your life. And in fact, I'm more interested in what it's given you to be the person you are today.
Interesting. All right.
Going deep.
Where do we want to start?
When it started, what made you kick off? What made you kick off speech level singing?
I'd been working with Seth for, let's see. It was short. It was 5 or 6 years is all when we first started talking about it. And there was a lot of coaches and different things like that were coming in through the studio, and it seemed very disorganized and disarrayed. And so I proposed that we put some formal structure together, and he said, okay. He said in his voice, okay. And then I went, all right. And then I put something together. I started structuring it, and actually it was going to be a nonprofit to begin with. And we went down that road, and it looked like that was the wrong direction to go. So we pulled back away from that. And his wife at the time, who died in 98, I believe, 99, 98, she was very much involved in it. As a matter of fact, we always anticipated that it would, we'd put it together and she would be a big part of running it and things like that. And then she passed from cancer in 98. And but I had trademarked, I took a little line out of his book, Speech Level Singing, and I trademarked that. And it was a term that people used, speech level singing. So I trademarked it, was sort of set the framework, and then we launched in 2000. So,
And that took over the world in terms of vocal
I mean, it
pedagogy.
literally took us 4 years, 5 years to get it off the ground. It was a lot of talking, a lot of negotiating, a lot of going back. And so even though I left in 2010, after 10 years of actively running it, we had been involved in building it for 4 or 5 years prior to that. So.
Right. And then the technique spread across the world.
We sent out missionaries, yeah.
But it's insane, really, if you think about it, how far and how big. Because I came into your life, very special moment, and I came into your life, and then you were just known as you were.
How did we meet?
The coffee shop. Didn't you tell us all about that?
No,
at
that's
Winter?
later on.
That was me reconnecting with him after
okay.
we fell out. We couldn't talk.
No,
That's
Oh.
not true.
Oh.
It was to do with like girlfriends and all that stuff, wasn't it? We always got a bit heavy into that kind of side of life. But
You
no,
guys were dating?
yeah. But then obviously 2010 was when things came to an end.
It came to an end for me. I mean, speech level singing is still in existence without me. So, but that's when I resigned and moved on. Yeah.
And then from there, you went on to, and we met in a coffee shop. You came as, I know I was very fundamental in this choice and decision of your life, but you went on
It's true, actually.
You've created an internationally renowned home vocal program, Sing Pro.
Yes, sure.
And also at that similar time, a teaching network called Vocology in Practice.
Yeah.
Now, what I see about, because I'm obviously part of Vocology in Practice, and what I love about it is that it's very open. very open book. There's no real kind of method or technique that's part of that. And I'm sure any singers across the world will know right now there are many different pedagogies or systems that come into teaching singing. And VIP, Vocology in Practice, works kind of...
The way I think the best description is we study methods, but we're not a method. We study techniques, but we're not a technique. It would be like if you're a Feldenkrais, you were certified in Feldenkrais, and then you felt like, wow, what about all these other offerings? And so what you did is created a network of people that have learned from all these different ideas, and they come together and they share ideas. So that's kind of what it's like. So I mean, there's a lot of certification programs for yoga or for fitness or whatever. So let's imagine that you're certified with NASM, but you're part of a network of fitness professionals. Some of them are with different certification programs, and they all come together and share ideas, and that's the best way to sort of talk about it. But we have I feel like the cream of the crop of the voice teachers across the world, not only in the active teachers, but in the science that we bring in the researchers, in all sorts of presenters. There's probably nothing that brings in such high level. I mean, the PAVA and things like that are great because they bring in those voice science and stuff like that. But I mean, as far as a network of voice teachers, so.
What made you make that decision to make it different to even speech level singing, which was worked in a different way?
Well, the pit in the bottom of my stomach as SLS grew, so did the pit, and so did my feeling of being in a bubble that was stifling me from knowing more, and going, wait a sec, I want to know more. Why am I being told I can't learn more? And so that pit in my stomach is what drove me to something has to change here. And that pit is also what drove me to going. So when I resigned, I didn't want anything to do with a network of teachers ever again. I'm like, I'm good. But after a year or two of that, and so many of the teachers in the great family and community and network that we had built kept coming back and go, I miss the community. I miss having, getting together once or twice a year and sharing ideas. So then creating Vocology in Practice, and Vocology is the habilitation of voice. It's not the rehabilitation, but it's the development of voice. It's sort of in a real nutshell. But so Vocology in Practice is the practical daily application of things that habilitate the voice. So anybody that's part of the Vocology in Practice or VIP is a voice professional that is committed to continuing professional development, bringing ideas to the group, having conversations, sharing in the wealth of knowledge and the wealth of finance, quite frankly. So we share students, we refer back and forth, we share, somebody's out on a tour with an artist, there's substitutes that go in and help out, and so it's all that.
Nice. Now I'm actually really interested because we're obviously in LA now, and it's very different to where I live. And you haven't always lived in LA.
Well, nope.
What brought you here then? What was the big decision? Because LA is very unique.
My dog and my wife. My dogs and my wife. What if I mix it up? My dog and my wives. Well, I am from Utah.
That's true.
Which is the reason I laughed when you said that. So, all right. So back on track. I grew up in Utah. I grew up in southern Utah, right on the border of Arizona. So the town I grew up in had 60 people, and I did not fit in.
Napoleon Dynamite.
I was Napoleon Dynamite. I mean, I could show you pictures.
Please.
I grew up, literally, you watch Napoleon Dynamite, there's some guy that's wearing this Kanab Cowboys t-shirt. That was the town I grew up next to. Kanab Cowboys were our rivals. And literally everybody in both of them, everybody in Napoleon Dynamite is a character that I know. I grew up with those people. And my hair looked just like that.
I've seen a video, a photo of next to a car. You're like leaning over a car, the curly hair.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
No shirt. I never wore a shirt.
Didn't need to.
No, I didn't need to.
No. So in the end, what brought you to LA? What was it about the bright lights?
I moved to San Francisco. So I built a nightclub in 1980, late 80s. I built a nightclub. in Salt Lake, and it was really successful. The first night we opened, we sold out, and it sold out every night after that until I sold it. Hated it.
It was a capacity of 12, so
Yeah.
it was pretty easy to fill. But
Tommy's here again tonight.
Yeah.
It's 1/12 of our
hi,
capacity.
Mom. Hi, Dad.
Leave it alone. Go home. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so it was great. It was a life changer. Quite frankly, it was a complete life changer. I grew up, my stepdad made about $500 a month, and that covered 4 kids and a wife, and so we ended up raising all of our food, and I was at a farm. Anyway. So opening this nightclub was
We raised our food. That just sounds so disturbing.
Nurtured.
come on, Corin, you can do it. So,
Once you get big enough, you're going to turn into
I'm gonna eat
a
you.
taco.
So I built the club, made a lot of money. For me at the time, it was a lot of money. It changed my life, really literally changed my outlook on life. Went to San Francisco on vacation and went, that's it. I am not going back to Utah. So I didn't go back to Utah. I stayed there. I got a place. 3 or 4 months later, I went back and closed the apartment I had and got my stuff. But at the time, I just went, there's no reason for me to go back. So I was in San Francisco, and then that's when I started flying down here and working with Seth. And then during that time, about 97, I started flying back and forth. 1 day here, 6 days up there for the week. And it slowly migrated to 2 days up there, 5 days down here, 7. Yeah, that's right.
Good math.
Anyway, so about 2004, I sold everything up there. I bought a house here, just stayed down here. My work had become so much more busy here than it was up there. It was great. I love San Francisco. I mean, I still love Silicon Valley and the attitude. When I was up there during that time, it was just absolutely amazing as far as you can do anything. All the music that was coming out of there, like
What
Green
year was
Day,
that?
90 through 2004.
So I've seen that the launch of Google and
Yeah, all that
Yeah,
stuff was
yeah,
happening.
yeah.
All of the Silicon Valley stuff was just on fire, and Apple and all that. I mean, just the innovation and the minds. Everybody up there is still like, of course we can do that. We can build that. I want a rocket ship that goes to Mars and comes back. All right, let's work on that. I mean, that's the attitude. Everyone up there is like, of course we can do that. And I loved it. It just, it just set me on fire. So, and the music, that was the thing up there for me. The music was the same way, Santana and Journey and Green Day, and just there was so many bands coming out of the Bay Area at the time, and it was just magical. So I loved it, but there was reached a point where I needed to expand a little bit, and that was right in the middle of the growth of speech level singing. I mean, it was exploding at the time, 2004 through 2008, 9. It grew exponentially every year, and that was. It was interesting, but like I said, it was also this pit in my stomach that I had created something that didn't feel right anymore. So,
But the LA life, you enjoying it? Do you enjoy it? Would you
I
move?
love away from here.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I would. If Shannon and I ever decided that's it, we're going to Colorado and smoking weed, then okay, maybe we'd do that. We don't smoke weed.
Well, but the thing, this is the thing.
We eat it.
The thing is that I've heard, and you got obviously, everyone. Does everyone live in LA here?
Yeah.
Joe,
We all sure do.
Yeah. So I've heard.
I'm also gargling yogurt right now.
Grover just joined us.
Yeah.
Grover, welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Joe. So Joe,
Waka waka.
I think Joe, you'll be a
Look over,
good.
there's a Muppet right next to me.
I was doing a puppet show while Dave was talking. Yeah. Sorry.
I think you'll be a good one for some feedback on this
Sure.
question.
I mean,
I've heard on the grapevine that LA is a place where you could, if you wanted to, kind of sleep your way to the top of where you want to be.
yes, as we all know, I'm the person to talk to about that. I've slept my way all the way to open mic nights.
I have slept my way all the way up to middle
The
management.
Ha Ha Cafe
Wow.
on Tuesday nights, yeah. In North Hollywood, right there.
So
in
it is
Lancashire.
real.
The Ha Ha Cafe is a real place. It's where dreams die.
It's where dreams die. Absolutely.
It really is. It's on Lancashire, and it's mostly people. You pay $5 and you get to tell jokes at 5 p.m. and mostly just homeless people.
If you're picked, right? I forget. Or is it just it's a raffle?
No. That one you pay and you go up. You literally pay to
But
play.
they pick. They pick. And
I think they pick the order, but it's not.
Yeah.
You're gonna go up.
Yeah,
You
and
got
you get a
$5
beer.
bucks?
You get a
If
beer.
you
You do get a
$5.
beer. You pay $5 and you get a beer in exchange.
Wow.
You drink 7 while you're there
Yeah.
because you have to.
Yeah.
Which you pay for. Mm-hmm. So you're not
Yes,
really on
you're
to
paying
And
for
they
the
do
other
give
6.
free hypodermic needles too.
Mm-hmm.
They are nice
They
about that
do.
too. Yeah.
Excellent.
Wow.
Well, because I've always just thought,
How
I mean,
have I missed this?
is it that
Grand
easy? Is it that easy to get to the top just by doing what you need to do?
Doing
I've been sleeping with Dave for a while, and it hasn't helped me at all. So
Well, no, you got to go to the camp this year for free. This year.
I did.
This year.
Well, no, I'm working there.
Well, that's to pay off your dues
Yeah,
and your tuition. Yeah. But years past you to pay.
I'm
and work.
hoping
Yeah.
maybe something will
one
happen
day,
with my singing career.
One day it will drop.
Yeah.
But on that,
Oh, how you laugh!
oh, how I laugh and sleep with her.
Wow.
which is a
Wow.
wonderful thing.
That's a really high price to pay for this tuition at Vocology.
Yeah. So on the subject of sleeping with Shannon,
Oh, wow,
the journey to being an artist is obviously something you're really passionate about. Hence creating everything you've created, and so not just Sing Pro, but the Vocology events every year.
Twice a year.
Yeah, twice
Well,
a year.
this year we've done 6 events. So, I don't know.
Holy moly!
We did Australia, we did Northern California, we did New Mexico, Winter Retreat. Yeah, so maybe 5 anyway.
So clearly, you're really passionate about the pathway to becoming an artist,
I'm passionate about helping others.
right?
I'm passionate about seeing what happens when you nurture something and put fertilizer on it.
But so I guess my thing is there'll be loads of people sat around, young people especially, thinking, I want to be the thing, I want to be the one. What in your opinion, what are their chances? Big question.
I don't think anybody can answer that. Honestly, no one can answer that. Work ethic is the number one thing. You have work ethic, you have a good chance. I mean, you have all these other things that need to line up. Your uniqueness. You don't even have to have a great voice. You have to have a unique voice. You have to have a unique, And so the work ethic is the number one thing, I think, that falls into that.
But all of the things that come into these the events, songwriting,
Being British.
being British helps definitely. Any others like that? Being a 34-year-old lad who's just trying to be a bit.
Steve's just really asking for himself. He's like, if you knew someone, let's just
no,
say
someone I know,
A
it's a
34-year-old
friend of
British
mine.
guy.
He's been singing for a while.
mate of mine, kind of. No, so yeah, so work ethic is a big one. What would you say would be a couple of things that someone really would want to think about if they want to reign at open mic nights, or or actually become an artist?
Well, it's in this order, I think.
All right.
Work ethic. Write it down.
I'm writing this down. I want to become the next big vocal
Number
singer.
1.
Yeah, number 1.
Become famous.
I don't care who you know.
I don't care who you know
Yeah.
or who you call.
Yeah.
Book a gig
What
in
you
a
do.
major movie
Yeah.
or
That's
TV
right.
show.
Listen,
Number 2.
I don't know who you know or whatever, but get a record deal. All right, no, here's the order. Seriously. Work ethic is first. Number 2 is content. Okay? So having a great song, even if you don't have a unique voice, even if you don't have a unique look, a great song will take you a long, long ways. Still, work ethic, trumps that. And then work ethic, content, uniqueness.
Being nice.
No, that does not fit in there anywhere. I wish there was
But
this.
don't you think that people that are don't get as far?
No, I wish that was the case. I mean, I see it all the time.
This is really disappointing.
You look at, but this is the way it is in comedy too, right? You look at that person, they're an absolute
that's true.
jerk, and they just keep doing this. So, I don't. I wish that was the case.
Joe.
I wish I could say it's
Malala.
kindness.
She's not that nice.
But Shannon, I think it depends on
She's
what you
kind of a
classify as being successful.
And
True.
again, that's a really good point.
Thank you, Steve.
No
Thank
worries.
you.
Anytime.
No, but I mean, I guess what I'm thinking is you say work hard, but if you come into the studio and you're an asshole, people aren't going to want to work with you. Unless they see something
as a singer, you get over a certain hump in as far as your fan base goes. They don't care.
Well,
they
yeah,
just
but
want to attach to
but
that.
then they've already made it. I'm saying to get up there.
No, I the way the world is now with the
Don't
social
argue with me,
Yeah,
okay? Because
feel like
it's
we're in the
gonna go
kitchen.
That's it. You know
downhill.
what? We're out of here.
No, I took the garbage
I'm
out.
taking
I
Joe with
swear.
me.
Yeah, we're leaving.
No.
Well, people still work with Mariah Carey, the good people.
Yeah.
I just made up that she's difficult.
I was going to say.
she seems difficult, though.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But
Why are you nodding then?
no, I agreed with the idea. If she is difficult, Mariah Carey's still Mariah Carey. She's still, who wouldn't? I would love to work with her because she's Mariah Carey, right? So I think I don't know. I wish we lived by those, like, be kind to people, be grateful, do the right thing, blah blah blah. You'll make it. Those are not related. Now
That's horrible
it's
news.
true. It's not.
Good luck, everybody.
However,
Wow.
Everyone leave LA immediately.
I'm actually really surprised to hear you say that.
okay, but let's define success again. Success in the industry and money and all that sort of stuff are not related. Money has no soul. There's no soul with money. Okay? So you have to keep those things separate. We've created an industry that honors things other than what we respect in our friends. This industry honors those things that create more soulless money, right? So since money has no soul, the process of getting more of that soulless stuff is not related to being kind. It's not related to being grateful. However, I can tell you those artists that I've worked with that comes to mind. Mike Posner's got to be the most kind, grateful, thankful person on the planet, regardless of music industry or not. And, Kevin, the Pentatonics, all the Pentatonics actually, and there's just so many of them that I could name that are just kind, grateful people and successful.
So you don't need to be an arsehole, is basically what you're
You
saying.
don't have to be, but it's not related. I'm just saying those two things are not related. However, happiness, those people that I deal with that are happy, I mean, you can be successful, lots of money, touring, and miserable, unhappy, lonely, but super successful in the industry, super making a lot of money, selling out arenas and all that sort of stuff. They're not related. So you can find very successful artists that are kind and gracious and all that sort of stuff, and you can meet very successful artists that are, complete pricks.
Dave, I have a question for you. Don't you think, though, take being kind out of the equation of success, but don't you think if you're kind, that buys you more goodwill when the times are rough? And
yes, absolutely. But that's when the trajectory shifts and it's going down is where that matters. But most of these people just continue like this and this and this, and it's not related. And when shit hits the fan and they look around and nobody's there, they start to realize, oops. But again, it's not related to the success of the industry. I mean, I wish it wasn't that way. I would love to say to you guys,
Bieber, if you're listening.
Listen, what a sweet, kind, awesome person that guy was.
No, I will say this, and I've said this before. It's taken a little bit of a turn, but I always felt, actually, honestly, that Bieber got sort of a bad rap in that, like, if you look compared to other people,
You're talking
most
about
of
his
this,
car?
Yeah, it was really.
It's a horrible rap, that
Yeah.
Silver.
But no, he actually he performed a bad rap. It was what I was saying. No, what I was saying is, I feel most of the stuff he did was just stuff that kids do at that age, and it gets amplified because he's so famous. But for the most part, he's just being like a little punk kid. But there wasn't anything malicious. It started to turn, like, did you see the one where he told the girl no in the mall?
No.
No.
Yeah. No. She's like wanted to give him. She's on
Recently?
the mall.
Was
Yeah,
this
like
recently?
yesterday, and he was like, no. Just kept walking. But even then, it's
But
like
that's kind of fair, right?
That
Yeah,
is
but
kind of
think
fair,
about
too.
that. That
Can't-
guy's been pulled at for it's almost
It's just
10
like-
years now.
Yeah,
almost
yeah,
10
yeah.
years in the spotlight, a red hot spotlight. Probably the only people that have experienced this hot of a light, Michael Jackson,
Michael Jackson, Justin Bieber, and there's one, I know who it is.
I don't know who.
Gary Coleman.
You think it was that hot for him?
And Emmanuel Lewis at the same. They would switch off. Yeah.
Emmanuel Lewis.
No,
had the
seriously, those
spotlight.
guys have never had the fame that Justin Bieber
What you
has.
talking about, Dave? Of course they did.
Barry Manilow, you must be.
Barry
Yeah.
Manilow, when he was in those bathhouses with Bette Midler, I'm sure he was being pulled apart.
Okay.
No, that's not a secret. That's where they started out. They talk about this.
Okay, but so I'm gonna go.
Wait, hold on. This is-
Emmanuel Lewis was there with them. You guys.
Emmanuel Lewis was
you guys don't know
he
the
would
story.
sit on the piano. He'd call Barry Manilow "ma'am," and then
Mammy?
and then he'd come down in the dumbwaiter. Remember that on Webster? He'd come down in the dumbwaiter. Sorry.
It's gone.
Okay. Anyway,
Gone.
back to Bieber. So like, so,
Well, look, and we've talked about this before, and this is a passion project of mine that I'm going to spend time and money and energy on soon. But
it's a love letter, to Justin Bieber.
fame is not good for anyone. I don't care who it is. It's not good for you. However, if you're going to be in this business, you can't make a living unless you're famous. That is part of the deal. You have to have fame to generate revenue to be able to make a living in this business, okay? But what it does is it affects your brain in a very similar way that cocaine does. So if you're going to be really famous for a long period of time, you can
You are
expect
going to
that
not stop talking to
I've
people.
also heard, Dave, can you
and you're going to
confirm?
be dancing like a maniac.
and you'll be tapping on your
Everyone
pants.
will think you're so
Oh,
funny and
you're
so
gonna be
cool.
Going to the
So-
toilet every half an hour.
Exactly.
be-
Yeah, loving that booger sugar. But Dave, here's the question.
Sugar. Yeah.
I've heard this, and since you're going to be doing a dissertation on fame, is it true that A, you live forever, and B, most importantly, because this is important to me, will you learn how to fly? And is it high?
Listen, some people soar, some people fly.
Okay. I want those
There's
questions
your
answered.
answer.
I want those questions
Debbie
answered on
Allen.
your pet project. Yeah.
I'll chat with Debbie and ask her. Anyway, the bottom line is, he was a sweet guy when I knew him. I haven't worked with him in years, but
Who?
he was Bieber.
Oh, you knew Justin Bieber?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So sweet,
me
super
about
talented, super talented. Like, you know, who I never expected the fame and everything else to be at the level it was. There's no way you could have predicted that.
I
So-
think a lot of people forget how talented he is. Actually, because
So-
he doesn't really show it off that much. No. I don't mean. But no, he
I see what
he
you're
can play
saying.
multiple
I
instruments
see what
and
you're
stuff
saying.
like that.
Oh
Yeah.
man, go YouTube him at 4 playing
Yeah.
drums.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't show off those elements anymore.
Yeah.
Now he's more of a personality.
Yeah.
And I think people forget that.
Yeah, no, and so you can expect that if your brain is on cocaine for 10 years at a level where you're doing it 4 or 5 times a week in massive amounts,
Yeah.
in 10 years, do you think you're going to have the same wiring, the same brain? It's going to burn off dopamine receptors. It's going to affect your
I'll let you know next
serotonin
year.
levels and all that sort of stuff. But that's going to change your brain. You have
Especially
to
if
expect
you
it.
start at such a young age.
And when you start at that young of an
Like
age.
is it like a fried egg in a pan?
Yeah, this
Is that
On
what
a
your brain
sidewalk.
on drugs is like?
this is your brain on baby. And-
Oh, the song "Baby." Oh yeah. People love that song though.
Yeah, well,
It's a good tune.
it launched him.
Thank you.
So anyway,
Sorry. We're way off the rails.
So
Go back. I'm
going
sorry.
back,
Yeah.
so going back to your question, success in the industry is not related to being kind and happy. But man, if you can do the two of them, you know, I like. The truth is that I work with so many artists that are just kind, good people. But again, it's just not related.
So what are you going to do, Sir Dave Stroud? What are you going to do
You better notify the Queen.
to help all of these crack addicts, these metaphorical crack addicts?
The way I look at it is we right now are in the same place the industry was in, let's say, the 60s and the 70s. And all of a sudden, all these artists are getting hooked on drugs and getting into, you know, a lot of the drinking and the drugs, and we're losing a lot of them at 27 over overdoses and all that sort of stuff. So the industry, for the Grammys, they put together Music Cares, and there's all these ways to help support artists that are going through that. There's rehab. There's a ton of support and education out there now for people who have substance abuse. And we have done nothing to help people who want to go into this business, and fame is part of what they need to do, and nobody's preparing them for that. Nobody's helping them understand that it can be an addiction, that it can be a contagious addiction. So your mom is looking out for you, but suddenly she's getting fame brain. So her decisions are now based on, I can say I'm so-and-so's mom, and all of a sudden I get, into the restaurant. I'll tell you a story that really changed or helped trigger this. But I was in San Francisco with one of my clients, and we flew up on his private jet, and he comes from billions, okay? And so we had a really famous person with us. So his career was just in early stages, but we had a really famous person with us that was part of the entourage. And we walked into a restaurant, and the restaurant was full, and we just had a little time before sound check and whatnot. So we're trying to find a place to eat, and we walked in first, and we asked them if they had a table. Could they find space for us? We were really in a hurry, and they were like, "No, we have a waiting list." Blah blah blah. This famous person that was with us came up the steps, met up with us, and suddenly they saw him, and they went and cleared out a whole room, and they sat us down and fed us. And this kid who comes from so much money, more money than the famous person, more money than you can even imagine, looked at me and went, "That has never happened." Like, fame just bought what money couldn't. And you saw that sort of switch in his head, like, I want to be famous. I'm already rich. I don't get any of this. It's the fame. So that was one of the moments in time where I went, okay, combine that with what happens on YouTube with these kids who are all of a sudden super famous. Nobody's prepared for this. Nobody's sitting them down. Nobody is even trying to warn them about what this is.
But it's like warning someone about the high of cocaine.
That's
like
right.
You're going to feel awesome.
Amazing.
Okay, for quite a while. You can't, all right, with fame, there's going to be a lot of recognition. People are going to be applauding you. They're going to want to be around you. It's going to be horrible. I mean, how do you prepare someone for something that they still put on a pedestal?
I don't know.
I also look at Susan Boyle, because it happened so fast.
That's the other thing. The speed of which this happens is
These
even
days.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Susan Boyle just went cuckoo.
Yep.
She did? Oh.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. And
Yeah.
so everywhere you go, people are pulling at you. And with my career, I travel with famous people often. And so I remember being in London last year at Nobu and walking in with a client, and literally the place was packed. But we had a table within 2 minutes, and literally people just kept coming by and trying to pull and pick and, get pictures. And you could see people, at another table lifting their phone up and pretending whatever, but they're taking pictures, and he's fully aware that that's happening, and he deals with it pretty well. But can you imagine that's what your life is suddenly? And nobody's preparing him. More importantly, what happens when you're off cycle? Nobody's preparing you for the fact that you're basically in detox. So how do you deal with that? So another friend of Shannon and I's, was a famous singer. We talked about this one time at dinner, and he's 40-something now, maybe 46, 47. We said, how old were you when you got famous? And he was about 19 when he got famous. I said, how long before you felt like your feet were back on the ground? He goes, I'm still trying to get it. I'm still trying to get my feet on the ground. He goes, there are times, but it's hard. So what I'd love to see is the Grammys and other people. Nobody exploits and takes advantage of fame more than the award shows, right? So whether it's the Grammys or Billboards or
People's Choice.
AMAs.
Well, the big ones. So
CMT.
Whoever is super famous that year, they exploit that and they make a ton of money off that. So I would just like to see something go back into education on that. That's all. Support for families. It's almost like Al-Anon for fame, or education that people are going into this business really need to take classes on what happens, what this is.
Well, and also, what do you want? Like, people want their music to be heard, but do they want to be recognized when they're at Ralph's buying peanut butter? I know I do. But
You are security.
they know me because
She's over on
I'm
aisle
always
4
there.
again.
Oh yeah. There's that woman
She's
that
here
tastes
again.
every single brand.
Check her
Hi.
socks.
Yeah.
There's always a toothbrush in there.
Okay, women, we're out of the one that mixes the peanut butter and jelly in the jar already. Goobers.
Will you guys please text me
Goobers.
when that gets?
Yeah, when
gets
you have
in?
more
When
goobers in. When you guys have more
That actually
speculous
would save
cookie
me
butter.
some time.
Have you had that speculous cookie butter?
That sounds
At
horrible.
Trader Joe's. I never tried it.
Oh, I know you're talking
Cookie
about. It's
butter.
like Nutella.
I've never tried it. You always eat at Trader Joe's, the
Yeah.
cookie butter.
Is that like raw cookie dough?
I have no idea. I've never tried it. Someone go to Trader Joe's, please, and pick some up.
And while you're out, tequila. Get some
We'll try it on the air.
And
Anyway,
air
Shannon.
conditioning. Yes.
You were talking about the fact that people should be aware of the implications of when they get involved in
Oh,
fame.
was I starting something?
Yes, you were.
Tell me again what I was saying.
No, but I'll tell you what, just on that though, because I was going to pivot off of you.
Yes.
You guys would know about this as well, because I know that you've spoken, you almost feed me with these thoughts, is that it's even the doing of the thing, right? It's even the doing of the comedy or being on stage that creates the roller coaster of...
Oh, yeah. You come off stage and you're high.
Yeah, and
And
or if
then
it goes,
you're low.
If it goes wrong...
And then you're low.
Well, yeah, it's such a roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
You know, you're like, you get this adrenaline rush and you make a room of people laugh, and then you're like, all right, that was so fun. And then you're in a hotel room by yourself and you're like, guess I'm just going to watch some TV and call it a night.
Good times.
Yes.
But also when it doesn't go, when it isn't a good night, you know, every
That never
time.
happened. Joe, did that ever
I mean,
happen to
I'm not
I've never heard of that before.
haven't-
hypothetically speaking.
you? Yes.
Because I often think that people aren't really aware of that. It's like what you're getting involved in here is a life of judgment.
Yeah. I mean, you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Especially,
Comedy.
comedy. Well, singing too. If you're writing a song and you're singing, I mean, that would be incredibly raw, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, you like if you go like, okay, we're gonna play, and you cut off my new album, and then half the arena goes to the bathroom, and you're like, okay, thanks.
Exactly.
Or like, anytime Billy Joel's in town, I go to the bathroom during "We Didn't Start the Fire." I hate that song.
Oh, really?
I hate "We Didn't Start the Fire." That's my go to the bathroom
Because
song.
you feel like you didn't. You're like,
Well, I'm
wasn't
afraid of fire, so I'm always afraid at some point someone will.
someone with pyrotechnic.
Maybe I'm hoping to one year he fesses up that he actually did start it.
All right, you guys.
Billy, I think you does protest too much.
All right.
We've been
I
hearing
did
about
start the fire.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, everyone. It
Seems
was
a little
me.
obvious.
Come
Yeah.
on, Billy. Everyone knows.
Yeah.
So, but going back, I've seen it, especially red carpet. That's where I see it the most, because red carpet's real close interaction. So they're walking the red carpet, and they've got all these photographers, interviewers asking questions. They get pulled at. They're just like they are the bee's knees. They get off the red carpet, and their head is zinging, just as they did a line of coke. Instead of doing a red carpet, it is a big line of coke, and they get off of that, and it is, yeah. So what is that doing to you, right? It's affecting. Clearly, it's a surge of hormones, and anyway. Probably enough on that subject, but I do think there needs to be something put in place, and I think that we who teach and guide people and encourage them to develop this art form, that we know what it's going to do. If they're good at this, that we know what's going to happen. They're going to go down this road, and why isn't there some sort of education in place? Why aren't we doing so? I just keep thinking we're in the same place we were in the 60s and the 70s when we started recognizing that. Well, but that's when it started, right? We started going, wait a sec, man, this drugs and alcohol are really screwing these artists up.
Let's write a song about the car wash.
But there is there is the ability for anyone to become famous now. And think about our society. Think how this is
God.
affecting our society. Like massively, people do crazy things because they can put it on YouTube, and it's just gotten wilder and wilder. And we're not,
It's moving quick.
and it's moving fast. Anyway, enough on that.
But yeah,
So
but
basically, Dave likes living in L.A.
Yeah.
yeah, I never did answer that question.
he bloody loves it.
He
Yeah.
and Shannon are going to stay in L.A.
But what is that?
For now.
talking about fame, being one of the world's most famous celebrity vocal coaches. I know you love that tagline.
Have
don't
you let that go to your head?
Yeah.
Yeah, buzzing. You're buzzing right now.
floating.
Yeah.
Dave's feet still have not touched the ground from all the singing vocal students that just applaud him. Is it like that actually over at the camp?
No.
Yeah, David the God.
Yeah,
Oh, is he
right.
really?
Oh, yeah,
when
yeah,
he's
yeah.
there?
He can
He
do no
sits
wrong.
in a throne.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, look, I don't see myself that way, and I don't think of myself that way. And Shannon knows, I hate the term celebrity voice coach or voice coach to the stars. That stuff bugs me, rubs me wrong.
Why?
No celebrity or star is required to study with me, right? Voice coach to the stars. Like, it's just silly. It's a silly, stupid thing to say. And that's not what I want to be known as. I don't want to be known as celebrity coach or anything. Quite frankly, I would be happy to teach out of a log cabin somewhere and just really focused, enthusiastic students.
I don't think Shannon would.
Shannon disagrees.
Honey, I do like the log cabin. I'm just thinking maybe
Maybe
like
just weekends.
installation we could have installed, or
So how about vocal coach to
Maybe
the
there's a
people who
bar
can
we
pay
could-
the hourly rate?
No, I mean,
Wait, what was the question?
If I had my yeah, that would be an awesome title. Vocal coach to wealthy.
Does your check clear?
If I could choose who I taught, not based on, I mean, I have to make a living too. So, but if I didn't have to make a living, it would probably be quite a bit different. So,
And so what does...
I don't know. I don't know if that's fair to say either. I don't know.
I know the answer.
I want to hear. I want to hear
know,
what the answer
just
is.
from being your wife and all, that you like working with people that are hardworking and kind, and that are passionate about what they're doing, and it doesn't matter whether they're famous or some new.
And that's really true.
Yeah.
And that really is true. So, and I'm incredibly lucky and grateful for my work and my career, for sure. It's amazing. So I don't deal a lot with, I just don't deal a lot with negative, dark people. They go away pretty quickly.
Let me ask you. So Lou Bega calls you, and he's like, "Dave, I'm working on Mambo number 6, but I don't want to work on it, and I'll show up when I want to show up, and I'm going to be mean to you, but I'll pay you whatever you want." You're saying no?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Yeah, without a doubt. I had a guy.
Mambo number 6.
Could
Listen,
be a real hit.
I got a referral from, was it Def Jam? I think it was Def Jam. I would have to go back and look who she works for, but she sent this guy in, and he was mostly a rapper but was learning to sing, and he would literally crack open a 40 before every lesson. You don't mind if I drink it? And I eventually just said, after the second lesson, I went, I'm not for you. I just can't do this. And I emailed her, and she was very, very high up and very, very powerful. And I just said, this isn't for me.
Why? Because he was the cocky attitude, or what was
He
the?
was drinking 40s
I
in
would
his
be
lesson.
too, though. If I had to
Yeah, I
sing
mean,
in front of someone,
yeah.
I'd be.
And that person
40s.
was Shaggy.
And he went on to become.
Yeah. But I would say 99% of the people I work with, I don't think I just have these really great, kind, awesome people. So
I think I've heard you say that before, and I don't want to, put words in your mouth or say things that you may not want people to hear you said. But about working with celebrities, you said quite specifically that isn't your most favourite thing to do, right?
Yep. I will tell you that is not my favorite thing to do when it comes with an entourage and a lot of dancing and, look, I'll come and I'll meet you and we'll work. And if that's what it is, I am great. If there's a lot of dancing and if there's a lot of politics and a lot of, talk to this person who has to talk to that person who has to, it's just not for me. It's just not. So if they want to learn, if they're kind, if we're connecting, and it feels like, okay, I can help you. That's like for any of us. That's what the work is. So
the fact that you are a celebrity vocal coach, you're
You're not giving it up. Are you?
Well, especially, there'd be a lot of people in this world, I'm sure. And maybe, Shannon can give some perspective. I know, Joe, you're gagging to know the answer to this question as well, I'm sure.
Sure.
But what is a day in the life of a celebrity vocal coach like? And I'm going to rephrase that so it doesn't offend you. Educator, entrepreneur, everything you do, I am curious to know what happens every single day.
It's boring. My life is boring because it's so much the same. Shannon will tell you, I get out of bed at the same time. I spend quiet time. I focus my day. I read emails. I make sure I've got the agenda for the day. I'll read the newspaper a little bit because I want to be up to date on current events and things. I work out every day between 8 and 9:30, somewhere through there. Come back, get ready, drive to work. Yeah, it's boring.
Let's make a podcast about it.
And it does. I do it the same
what people wanna
every
hear?
day. Yeah, I'm really I'm
but
a
honey,
time person.
you're structured like that because everything is not the same every day. It's totally different.
Okay, within that structure, nothing's the same.
Yeah,
that's
so you
true.
have to have that structure because
It would
otherwise
be chaos.
But
Absolutely.
I know one thing is that he is glued to his phone constantly, and it's irritating. And I'd like to talk. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding, but it is irritating. But only for the people that are there, present in the moment.
Quite often.
Which isn't me. I'm never.
True. I mean, this is why I came to the podcast, was just to have some time with him.
Should we swap seats? Or?
By the way, we need to reach out to the gardener about Thursday. Anyway, no, but he, normally you'd say, the wife would be like, seriously, why are you texting? It's ridiculous. But that's why he is successful and why people come to him, because he gives so much to each student. Like, he has all these people that he is counseling and therapy for, and a father figure, and hopefully he's not sleeping with all of them, because that would be
Messy.
Yeah, no, but I mean, he gives so much of himself to each person, and so he makes himself available and is constantly putting out fires and reaching out to people. It is really hot in here.
Well, it's partly also because it's 100 degrees outside, 120. But it's also partly because I'm not just a voice coach. We have a dozen, as an entrepreneur, you have all these things going on, and entrepreneurs don't clock in and out. So if somebody's texting me at midnight going, listen, tomorrow's blah, blah, blah going in, and there's something, I have to deal with it then. And so any entrepreneur will tell you that's nothing special. That just is what it is. So, we deal with people in Asia, we deal with people in Europe, we deal with people in South Africa and wherever. So the time zones, like I'm doing lessons sometimes at, 6 a.m, so it fits in time, or at midnight, so that fits in, or I'm dealing with we're dealing with a flight schedule or something. That's just the way it is. I mean, an entrepreneur just deals with those things. So.
How do you feel about that on a daily basis? Because I can imagine. I can't imagine everything. You've got investors. I mean, from teaching people to sing, all the way through to flights, investors, like bang, bang, bang. Mind going. Are you exhausted?
Well, the entrepreneur side of things that has investors, and that's kind of new for me. That's something I've learned over the last 5 or 6 years. So learning to speak their language, learning to speak the language of attorneys, learning to speak the language of, somebody who, I recently just spent, when we were in Australia and hoping to have a couple of days of vacation at the end of this educational thing we did. And all of a sudden I find out I'm supposed to have a PPM for these investors. And a PPM is a very complex document that goes to investors to explain where their money goes, but it also protects you. It protects you because you're full disclosure on what's going on and where the risks are and things like that. So it's, 35
Let's just say we
pages.
missed a couple dinners on
Let's
that
just
trip.
say that I'm sitting on spending time with this attorney talking through everything to make sure this document, and that's something that's new to me. I don't know what a PPM is. So anyway, over the last 5 or 6 years, I've learned a lot when it comes to that, and I love it. I love learning. Shannon will tell you, I love picking up a new something and studying it. So for me, it's been great. I wouldn't mind getting that part finished and moving on to astrophysics or something.
But do you ever take holidays? I don't ever see you guys going on holiday.
Yeah, we do. They're short.
Oh, is that a talking point?
No, it's just, like we might go, on a vacation or, add it into some business trip or something, but he never turns off his phone. Like we went to Hawaii and it was like, you
I
know,
was doing
in a
it.
waterfall. He's like, so, okay, so call me. I'm like, can you just put it down?
And I've gotten a little bit better. I still can block out time and go, okay, you know, we have date night every Friday night, and most of the time I throw my
Your
phone in her
purse?
purse. I throw my phone
I
in.
just put my purse down and I said, I'm not taking
That's
it.
not a gross euphemism, is it?
Kind of.
Oh, okay.
Works.
Brooke, write down that time there. Take that out.
5238.
But I try and put my phone away in her purse and just leave it, and then I know.
See if we can make a baby.
I said try.
Let's.
Anyway.
So what does the next 10 years look like for Sir Dave Stroud?
Do tell.
I don't know.
Any plans for bigger things? You can't tell me that you don't have a vision. Like, hang on a minute. You're the one that was like,
You have to visualize.
you visualize it in your what is it? Your predetermined outcome and.
So here's the deal. There is a lot, but I just can't talk about it right now.
Oh.
I will be happy to talk about this in the next episode that you host. But right now, we are literally in that place where 50 things are happening all at the same time, and I'm trying to get everything lined up so that they're successful, and it requires a lot of people and a lot of focus and in my world, an incredible amount of, to me anyway, investing and things like that. And so,
What about outside of the business world? What about you in just like personally? Where would you want to see yourself? And
I don't know. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with life. We just moved to Venice, and we got this great yard and a great space, and
great
You're probably
barbecue.
going to build another 12 things in the yard.
maybe.
Every time we come out, we're like, oh, well, now look at that. There's a garden shed. Like, it's just something new every...
So we moved in this house. We have this big yard, and it was completely empty when we moved in January. And I haven't had space for 30 years. So my San Francisco place was a third story of a typical San Francisco unit, and LA, I had this condo over in West Hollywood, and before that, it's always been whatever. So all of a sudden we have this awesome spot over in Venice and this big yard, and so I started pulling out my old do-it-yourself stuff and building decks and pergolas and putting sheds together. It's been fun. I love it. I mean, for me, that's cathartic.
Right.
Spending hours drilling and sanding and putting things. Oh, it's so good.
That's not another gross euphemism, is it?
Kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Brooke,
Joe?
mark that at
Joe.
5:55:17.
We live... Yeah.
Joe, you'll have to watch the video later.
I've been visualizing it. That's part of my visualization process.
Yeah.
Joe's vision board just
My
is our
vision
life.
board, yeah.
Honestly, the more I do
We
those
could-
sort
you
of
could
things, the
live
more
in
focused
this.
I am in the studio with students. So
You take your mind away from.
it's so great. It's such a nice, cathartic, that and working out. Those two things are really important to keep my head clear.
I mean, because I'm blown away by your work. I mean, being a fitness god myself. Your regime, you are on it like every day, aren't you?
When we're in town, I mean, we miss when we're traveling or something like that. Some days I miss and stuff like that. But
Yeah, but that's was that your complete influence, Shannon, or
No, we met doing fitness. That's how we met.
we met in that P90X.
you did, yeah.
Yeah.
Shannon was running from Dave.
Screaming.
Yeah.
So it
I
continues.
dropped a shoe and then he
Yeah.
caught up to me eventually, but
However, it was awesome when I finally grabbed her ankles and slammed
dragged
her
me
to the
down.
ground.
slammed it to the ground. Well, I think that's a good summary of Dave Stroud today. I think we've covered quite a few topics, and I guess all that's left for us to do really is to ask where we can find everyone on the internet. So, Joe, should we start with you?
World Wide Web, Joe, hit it.
Yeah, you can find me in my award-winning podcasts. They've won no awards, by the way.
Oh,
Catching Up. That's on iTunes. Also, the RuPaul's Drag Race recap. What is wrong with my voice? Dave, I need a lesson. I'm writing a check after this. RuPaul's Drag Race recap on iTunes. And you can find me on Instagram at Joe Betance. That's JoeBetance.
Can I just put a plug in for Joe's Catching Up? I love that podcast.
Oh, wow. A fan.
We were driving from Santa Cruz and we listened to a bunch
We
of
listened to it once.
them. Not once.
No,
we
I
listened
know,
to
I
a bunch
know.
of them.
Yeah.
No.
It's very entertaining. Joe's very entertaining.
Thank you. Wow. Plug from the celebrity voice, the celebrity voice coach of the celebrities.
Can he quote that from you?
Yeah, that's going to be on the podcast.
I don't think it'll matter, but you can go ahead.
Shannon, how do we
Shannon,
find you?
come on.
You can find me in my laundry room, mostly
Texting
washing.
Dave.
Locked in.
Yeah. Yep. No. I mean,
You can
I have a
occasionally,
website,
but also she can be found in this thing she does every Thursday
What?
what
What do you do every Thursday?
with Judy.
Judy Carter,
Goddess of Mystery. What do you guys do every Thursday?
We don't do it every Thursday.
I thought it was every Thursday.
No.
Feels like
but,
Wow.
All right.
no, I still
I come
teach.
home and I have to get my own dinner every Thursday. I remember.
I'm a comedy coach. I teach and help Judy out with her.
Do you guys
She does
perform
it.
somewhere? You guys do storytelling or?
No, we do. We've been doing. I've been jumping on her webcast
Oh.
for comedy.
Lovely.
Yeah,
So people can find her there.
and in the laundry room. Go ahead, Dave.
yeah.
What about you, Steve? Where do we find you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Steve.
Steve.
Oh,
Steve Holt.
which way? So I think most people would get a lot of value from singing wise out of the Naked Vocalist podcast that I am very proud to say that I'm a co-founder and co-host of, with my friend, with my
Co-host.
co-host Chris Johnson.
He's your friend. What are you doing over there?
He's giving him a dig from across.
He's not here, is he?
The water.
No, he's not.
He slacked off this week. He should be here,
That's
but
true. I guess maybe he's not any of our friend. We'll have to think about
just
it.
saying. TheNakedVocalist.com. And of course, if anybody feels a need to get in touch with a 34-year-old English man from Salisbury,
Joe.
I'm going to say Steve's pretty hot. This Jacqueline's pretty lucky.
Yeah,
thank you.
Jacqueline's pretty hot.
Steve, you're lucky.
Steve's
Thank
pretty
you.
lucky.
Everyone's lucky.
Everyone's lucky. Thank you, Joe. I'll take
You're
that. And
welcome.
I'm going to leave what I'm going to say on that, and I'm going to pass over to Dave, because that's a wonderful way to transition. Dave,
I don't do much social media. You can find me on Sing Talk.
that's the best place
It's
to...
the best place to find me.
And this podcast in 2 years.
Yeah, when we finally launch this
Yeah.
2 years.
So all that's left, I guess, is to thank everyone for our time, including me, and TNS Studio for their hard work and continued support, and our producer Brooke. Give a little round of applause for Brooke, everyone. I think it's...
That's actually just the sweat hitting the floor from how hot it is in the studio. That was an actual
Huddling.
applause. Yeah.
Thank you and good night.
Sing, sing. Talk. This is Sing Talk Radio.